Today's book is called The Introvert's Edge by Matthew Pollard, and I'm giving this one a strong 9 out of 10. Now, before you think, well, I'm not an introvert, so this probably isn't for me, let me stop you right there. This is not just a book for introverts. This is a book for anyone who's responsible for sales. If you own a small business, that means you. What I love about this book is that it flips the traditional idea of sales completely on its head. Most people think sales is about being outgoing, persuasive, fast-talking, charismatic. Pollard says no. Sales is about listening. It's about empathy. It's about asking better questions than anyone else. And honestly, that's a relief because there's an anxiety around selling, especially for small business owners that usually comes feeling like they have to perform. You have to push, you have to convince. But this book that shows a lot of anxiety disappears when you create a system. Not hype, not pressure, a system. He lays out what he calls a 7-step sales process. I won't go into all the proprietary details, but here's the essence of it. First, you establish rapport naturally, not fake small talk, real connection. Then you identify real problems, not surface level stuff, the actual issues keeping your customer up at night. Then, this is powerful, layer in the pain. In other words, you help them understand the cost of not fixing their problem. After that, you share relevant stories, and this part really hits home for me. He talks about storytelling not as entertainment, but as alignment. Stories help your customers see themselves in the solution. It lowers the resistance, it builds trust, and it makes the conversation human. Then you handle objections calmly. No defensiveness, no pressure, just clarity. Only after all that do you present the solution. And here's the key, you only present it when it's earned, when it's obvious that the next logical step. Finally, you gain commitment without pressure. It's not, are you ready to sign today? It's more like, does this feel like the right next step for you? It reframes the entire sales conversation. Instead of you versus the customer, it becomes you and the customer versus the problem. That shift alone can completely change how you feel about selling. For small business owners especially, this book is grounding. It takes sales out of the world of slick tactics and puts it back into structure, empathy, and service. And if you've ever felt awkward doing outbound outreach or hesitant to follow up or uncomfortable asking for the sale, build a repeatable process that reduces so much of that stress. You're not winging it anymore, you're guiding a conversation. So overall, 9 out of 10. Practical, clear, immediately usable. If you're responsible for revenue in your business, and let's be honest, you probably are, this is absolutely worth the read. And if you've already read it, I'd love to hear what stood out to you the most.